Well, bear spotting has become a little more common these days across Southwest Florida. The most recent one seen this morning, look at this guy hanging out inside a shop in Fort Myers. Fort Myers Police Department released these photos of the bear just chilling, sitting there inside of Hurricane Safe Shutters shop on Earl Road. One of the workers described the chaotic morning, saying he couldn't believe it.
My house is actually the house right next to the shop, and the bear was walking through my yard and went around the back of my house, jumped the fence, and then he went into our building. And I asked the police, do you want us to lock him in there? And they said, yeah, that'd probably be a good idea.
Well, this comes just days after another bear was spotted in this Naples neighborhood. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission tells Fox 4 we are at the start of bear mating season, so you are likely to see more of them roaming around town.
As much as we know it could happen, it's still weird every time it happens, right?
Yeah.
I remember covering some bears that were getting into the dumpsters by Edison Mall in Fort Myers some years back. So it isn't uncommon, really, to see them out in nature, of course. It's just that most of us aren't there. That we know they prefer a mixture of flatwoods, swamps, scrub oak ridges, bayheads, and hammock habitats.
So we're taking a look now at this black bear map. All of those yellow dots show bear-related calls received by the FWC from the public within the last year. It's pretty impressive. The red dots are areas where the bears were actually captured. And if you look closely, more bears have been captured in Collier County than Lee County in the last 24 months.
We want to update you on that bear we showed you in Old Naples, of all places, a little while ago. Florida Fish and Wildlife does have that bear.
Yeah, that's right. So our Shari Armstrong live now at FWC site in Naples, where that bear is just waiting and to be released out back to the wild. Shari.
Jane, I really appreciated when you talked about those pictures from the Fort Myers Police Department, and you talked about how this cub, because he's only about 18 months old, is just chilling, because that's exactly what he's doing right now. If you take a look behind me, the cub has just been relaxing all of a sudden. In our last few hits, we actually heard him kind of bouncing around in there. He was waking up after quite an exciting day. He started his morning at Hurricane Safe Shutters in Fort Myers. And to be clear about where this is and why this is big news today, Hurricane Safe Shutters is between Broadway Avenue and 41 in Fort Myers. So that's a heavily populated area, a lot of businesses. FWC says they're not exactly sure how this guy found his way inside of that building, but we did talk to a representative from the company earlier today who said they locked him in there just to keep him safe and themselves safe as well. That's when they tell us that FWC also arrived on scene. Now, he is here. You might be wondering, what's he doing inside of the back of this truck? Well, they're just monitoring him to make sure that as he was bouncing around, he didn't injure himself. They want to make sure that when they release him back into the wild, as Patrick said, there are a lot of bears around here, that he is safe too. So in about a half an hour or so, this guy's going back into the wild. Now, I got some goodies from FWC, and they are reminders for you tonight, because you may be watching and think, wow, Shari, he's cute, we get it, he's safe, but what about us? Well, FWC and the Naples Zoo, both we talked to today, and they tell us, make sure that you stash your trash. Make sure that you don't leave trash out for a long period of time. And if you happen to be out in the woods, make sure you carry one of these. It's a whistle. That way, in case there is anything out there that could be coming your way, you can let it know that you're also on the prowl. Coming up in Fox 4 News at 6, we're going to talk about why this just is not very common, or it's not as uncommon as you might think, so stick with us. For now, I'm Shari Armstrong with photojournalist Jason Snydacker, live in Naples, sending it back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Shari. We know your safety is a top priority, so authorities are reminding the public not to ever approach a bear. Like, that's a little common sense, but if you happen to stumble across one, you are asked to call FWC.